In 1985, I was 12 years old. And that was a great time to be 12 years old. Perhaps you've seen Stranger Things. For me, the thing that was so amazing about that particular time to be that particular age was American culture in 1985 had reached what I'm going to refer to and what sociologists refer to as peak ninja. We had more ninja coverage and availability, which is ironic given that they're a pretty secretive bunch. There was movies and there was outfits, and I had everything. I had nunchucks. I had the whole black outfit. I had the whole thing. I watched every single program. There's some truly awful television shows devoted to ninja stuff, and I was in. Me and my friends talked about it. We bought all the merchandise. We did all the things. It's all we wanted to play. It was the thing. Peak ninja. And the reason I bring this up is I went to this school, this school when I was 12 years old, and we didn't really learn a lot of things. We talked a lot about our feelings. We sang a lot of songs. I learned the whole Peter, Paul, and Mary catalog. It was lovely. But the one thing that we did that was vaguely educational was that we wrote. Every single day we wrote. We started our day with writing, and the idea was that if you learned how to express yourself in that way, you could do just about anything. But the thing about me is every single day I wrote basically the same story about, yes, of course, why wouldn't I? Every single day it was something like on a moonless night, the rain fell softly on the Tokugawa castle, and the silent footsteps could not be heard, but were there, and the dark assassin, blah, 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 something about grappling hooks, and it went on from there. Every single day, my poor teacher. It's all I wanted to write about. It's all my buddies wanted to write about. It went on and on and on and on and on and on and on, basically the same story every day. And finally, my teacher said to the class, look, I'm not supposed to give you boundaries because it really messes with our sort of hippie ethos. But she didn't say ethos. But I'm going to give you a topic. You're not allowed to write about the stuff you've been writing about. Ninjas. You're not allowed to write about that. I'm going to give you a topic, and you're going to write about that. That's what you must write about. And today, your topic is going to be, if all of my wishes came true, I would do ... And you have to fill in. And so a lot of my buddies were writing about, going to Disney World or being an astronaut or, these kinds of things that you would do if life gave you that kind of a blank check. And I thought about it for a minute, and I knew I was going to go my own way. I was very precocious. You would have loved me. And I wrote, if all my wishes came true, I would write this story. On a moonless night over the Tokugawa castle. I've always been pretty good at doing the thing that I wanted to do anyway. And I think most of us are. I can't tell you how many times people have come to me and said something along the lines of, I got out of that relationship and I found somebody new, and it looked like it was going to be really, really great, but they ended up being just like the other person. Of course, I respond all the same way in all of the fights. I have the same issues that I bring to the table. I do all of the same things, but how come they're the same when I'm just exactly the same? Wait a minute. So many times I've had people tell me, I'm doing the thing that I wanted to do anyway. How come nothing has changed? Well, I have a theory. And it has to do with the idea that maybe, stick with me here, maybe success is not the same thing as getting what you want all the time. This is a really big deal. This is not something that we hear a lot about in our culture right now. The idea that we have is that someone who's successful, someone who's heroic, is someone who just gets to make people do what they want them to do, who gets what they want all the time. They get to call all the shots, right? Sometimes we think that that's what being successful means. A little while ago, there was a Superman movie. I mean, there have been a lot of Superman movies. But I'm in. I love the whole thing. I talk about Superman all the time. It's a great myth. Good Jewish boy. It is the Moses story. Don't get me started on that. But I love that idea, and I love every time there's a new take on that idea. And I particularly loved this last movie because in this movie, Superman says, you know what? I don't know what the right thing to do is all the time. I mess up all the time. I just try to do my best. I just try to help. And I am not flawless, but I keep trying. And that's what makes me human. There's this great speech towards the end of the movie where he talks about what it means to be human. And I loved it. It was beautiful. I cried during that part. I was probably the only person in the theater crying. But if you read the reviews of that particular incarnation of the Superman thing, the reviews are almost all bad because they're like, I like a Superman who's not whiny. I like a Superman that just beats up bad guys all the time and does whatever he wants to do. I thought, well, we've all seen that movie. Many, 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 many times. And maybe it's time for a different story. You want to change your life, change your story, right? But this is a big deal. Like I said, sometimes people think that being successful means getting what you want. Sometimes people think being spiritual means getting what you want. Surely no one in this room, surely no one watching online, but there are people, believe it or not, in New Thought that think if I just read the right books and go to the right seminars, I'll get God to do what I want God to do. Surely, if I get the right formula, I figure out the secret knock to God's treehouse, I will get to call the shots. Being spiritually successful, following the gospel of prosperity, is about getting what I want. If I'm spiritual, I get what I want. That's how you can tell if someone's spiritual. They get what they want all the time. They call all the shots all the time. Are you familiar at all with the story of, let's say, Jesus or Muhammad or the Buddha? Are these stories about someone that just gets to do what they want all the time? That's not very spiritual then, I guess. We need somebody with a better self-help book. I'm old enough now to where I can look back at my life, and there have been lots of times where I have not gotten what I wanted, and it was so great that I didn't. You've got those stories too. I have lots of stories in my life where I did get what I wanted and immediately wished I had a receipt. You know? I'm old enough now to where I go, you know what? I am so cool with the idea that I don't know everything, that maybe life is not about me being the boss, but maybe it's less about talking and more about listening. I have had those moments in my life. And think about the movies, the superhero movies or the James Bond movies or whatever. The person who gets what they want all the time is the bad guy. Over and over again, the villain in the story gets what they want all until the very end, and then there's this like 5 seconds where they don't get what they want, and that's when the credits roll. Right? And if I were writing those movies, the superhero movies or the James Bond movies or whatever, I would have a speech that sounds just like the speech I give to my television when those movies are on. My poor wife has got to hear the speech over and over again. It's me talking to the villain in the movie. And it's me going, what is it that you actually want? How much is enough for you? You've already got a private army and a nice car and a lair built out of a hollowed out volcano. What is it that you want? You need therapy. You need a hug. You don't need $1 million or whatever. You need someone to hear you, because clearly you getting what you want is never going to fix it for you. The villain in the story is not someone to be feared. There's somebody to feel sorry for. Getting what you want is not the stuff of the hero of the story. Listening, helping, loving is the stuff of the hero of the story. So maybe winning means something different. I mean, after all, when my teacher was trying so hard to get me to write something else, was she trying to keep me from winning? Do you think? Was that her goal? We're going to make sure this guy loses one today. Do you think that's what was going on? No, of course not. She was trying to get me to grow. She was trying to get me to learn. She was trying to get me to come outside of myself and change just a little bit, because that's when good stuff happens, when we're open to change just a little bit. And that might sound weird in a culture that says if you're doing it right, you don't change, the world changes around you. That might sound weird if you don't read the whole New Thought book. You read about half of it. And you think the idea is the spiritual goal is that I never change and I make stuff change. If I have the right affirmations, Father, or mother or spirit or whatever, please change the whole world for me and let me stay completely the same forever, because what the universe needs is more me. You know? There's a lot of affirmations that are that in different words, right? Do they work? No, because that ain't how this thing works. This is different knowledge. Because for a lot of people, maybe even people in this room, maybe even people watching, for a lot of people, the way that life works is you just do the same thing over and over again. The same thing over and over again. And success means I did that same thing well enough to where somebody gave me more of it to do. If I'm successful, I do the thing just a little bit more, just a little bit louder, just a little bit more intense. You do the job well enough, they'll let you do the job harder for a little bit more money. Repeat until funeral. That seems to be the formula for a lot of people. We fulfill this role in our lives sometimes, but I'm not sure it's fulfilling. Have you had to do things that you know you have to do because this is what we do to get along that don't feel like they're doing anybody any good? Then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm here to tell you that that does not have to be your path. I know we've all been told that that is how life works, like it's some video game. You know the games I'm talking about? You probably have a game on your phone right now that involves something like putting fruit in order. Or something. Maybe they're diamonds, maybe they're little cartoon characters. But you put them in order, you solve the puzzle, and then, I did it, I won. No, you didn't. I'm going to give you more fruit, and now you got to do it faster and louder. Did you do that one? Did you win? No, how about a whole bushel? And the game goes on and on and on, and it is never done. Some people think life is like that. But you ever quit one of those games? You ever turned it off? Maybe even deleted it from your phone? There's that feeling of, I think I just won because I'm not doing it anymore. I think I just won. I did it because I ain't doing it. Oh, there's something beautiful about that. I know that we're told that being successful, that winning is doing the same thing over and over again, but you and I and everybody else have had those secret Bobby McGee moments where we lost something and we were free because of it. Now, everyone is allowed to grieve, and sadness is okay to feel sad. I get that. I'm not trying to take that away from you. Feel what you feel. But on the other hand, everyone in this room, everyone watching has a story about how they lost the job, or the romance didn't work out, the big plans didn't go as planned. And with all of the other feelings, maybe underneath, maybe secret was a feeling of, oh, thank goodness. I don't have to do that thing. Sometimes, in and through the feelings that are supposed to feel like loss, sometimes in and through that, there is also a feeling of, oh, okay. That secret Bobby McGee feeling of freedom that can happen sometimes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the song. It's a great song. Janis Joplin will save your soul. I say secret because, like I said, we're not supposed to do that because that ain't winning. But we all know what it feels like to reevaluate. We all know those moments where it's like, maybe life is not about just accumulating more stuff around me. Maybe life is not about just burying myself alive like some pharaoh in these little treats. What if, hypothetically, what if life is not about the special rewards at the end of something we didn't want to do? What if life is not about making ourselves happy one day a week in exchange for putting up with things that hurt our hearts all the time? What if life is not about the special moments? I want you to be happy. I want you to celebrate. I want you to do all of it, but I do not want you, or at least let me say it this way, I'll encourage you not to have a special place in your life. Come to church. Come to the center. But let this not be different than your life. What happens here on Sunday morning should be like the rest of your life, but just a little more, not a little different. This is where we practice together what we're supposed to do all the time, right? This isn't special. This is usual, or it ought to be. what happens if you think of it that way? Because here is the thing I came to tell you today. All of that stuff about Superman and ninjas, introduction. This is what I came to tell you. You ready? We do not create according to our special. I'm going to say it again. We do not create according to our special. If you set something out as different in your life, think about what you're saying to your own mind, to your own heart, to your own life. You're saying, this isn't me. This is different than me. Well, how can you have more of that? How can you grow in that direction? You are setting yourself up for it to forever be different, for it to forever be other. You do not create according to your special. We can't spend our life going and looking for external rewards of whatever kind because we'll never be different. It'll be the same putting fruit in order for the rest of our lives. We do not create according to our special. Here's the other part. We create according to our normal. What is your normal? Because that is what you are going to get more of in your life. What is your normal? Is it normal that the world is a cruel place, but one day a week it's kind of nice and there are hugs involved? Then what are you going to get most of your time? Every thought, every word, every action is a vote for the life that you have, for the world that we make together. We don't create according to our special. We create according to our normal. So what is your normal? And can you put a little bit more love in your normal? A little bit more joy in your normal? Can you put dancing as part of your normal? Oh, what a life. It ain't hard. What's your normal? Because that is what you are going to get more. So all of a sudden, life is not about trying to find some finish line, some external reward, some little treat, but rather life is an ongoing thing. And that makes sense because this is an infinite place, isn't it? On a physical level, the universe just goes on and on forever to the furthest outreaches of space down to the most microscopic thing. It is forever on forever on forever. And on a spiritual level, even more so, when we talk about spirit, when we talk about God, the word that I use is mystery. Because I ain't got the words for how this makes me feel. We're talking about forever. And if the truth of life is a foreverness, why would you ever want to look for done? What is done? What's done? No more of that. No more finish lines in life. Look for what is an ongoing. Look for a normal that is a forever normal. Look for something that just keeps on going. Stop looking for results and start looking for experiences. That's another one that I want you to remember. I'm going to say it again. Stop looking for results and start looking for experiences. What makes you feel alive? Do that. What makes you smile and laugh till you cry? What makes you want to dance? It makes it impossible for you to sit still. What is your experience of life? Find that. Because every hero's journey is a journey of going out and being changed by something bigger and bringing it back to the tribe and changing somebody else and then going and doing it again. That is your role. That is the hero's journey. And knowing your role and deciding to give up on what isn't yours to do and just changing lanes just a little bit is what the whole thing is about. Some of you know that I'm a grandpa. Oh, it's the best. I'm good at it too. Oh, it is the best. Being a grandpa is so wonderful in so many ways. My daughter let us know that she's going to go again. I have another grandson due not too far from now. It is the best thing in the world. And there's a lot of reasons why it's good. I have a phone full of pictures that I will show anyone, even if they didn't ask. And I can say without bias that my grandson is the most perfect human being ever. No bias. But one of the things that was particularly wonderful that my wife and I figured out is that there's so much we don't have to do. We know what our role is. It's very clear. When we were parents, before the grand got involved, when we were parents, we were so worried about doing everything right. Is the kid eating right? What about the diet? What about the bathroom part of the situation? What about bedtime? Are we doing enough for homeschooling? Are we setting the kid up for success? Are we doing all the things? What would Dr. Spock say? What would Mr. Spock say? I don't know. What's the thing? We were so worried about it, and we were worried about it because the universe has given us this life. We were worried about it because our parents didn't do a great job, weren't concerned, so we wanted to be change breakers. We wanted to do this differently, you know? But for all kinds of reasons, this is important. We wanted to do it right, and there was so much pressure to do everything right. And our kids came out okay, you know. My wife always says, if you lived long enough to get into therapy, we did good enough. But we tried, you know. A lot of pressure, but we tried. But with the grandkid, I'm not worried about bedtime. Did he brush his teeth? Don't care. You came to the wrong desk. I'm not interested in that. My job is just to love the kid. You know, obviously, I do so in healthy and empowering ways, but my job is just to love the kid. That's it. And to the degree that I honor my role, I'm good at it. To the degree that that's all that I do, the relationship is good. The life is good. This endless, beautiful chain of what family can be goes on into forever, and it's beautiful. All I got to do is love the kid, and there is a life lesson there, whether or not you're a grandparent. Because what I want you to know is that the universe is really good at taking care of its own. You know this. When we step out of the way and let the universe do what it's supposed to do, the details, like bedtime and toothbrushing, so to speak, get handled. Your job is just to love the kid. But you're the kid. The people around you are the kid. Your life, your world, our world is the kid. Your job is to stop trying to fix it and start trying to love it. Because when you love something, you take care naturally. You don't have to think about it. It just happens. Your job is just to love. That's the role. And that's the whole thing. That's it. People come to me sometimes and they ask, what's the meaning of life? Like I'm supposed to give that to them on a soundbite or something you could put in a fortune cookie or something like that. Something that we can own intellectually. What is the meaning of life? And they expect some kind of, enjoy every sandwich. Whatever it is. What is the meaning of life? And I cannot do that. It's not what I signed up for, and it's not what you want from me. Not really. Because first of all, if it can be written down and in so doing owned intellectually, it ain't the secret to this infinite bigness that we're talking about. I can't do it because there's no secret. I can't do it for all kinds of reasons. This cannot be put into words. But the main reason I cannot give you the meaning of life is that you are the meaning of life. You are the meaning of life. What you say, what you do, what you think, how you show up for other people, how we care for each other, the way that you feel when you laugh. That's the meaning of life. I can't give that to you. You are it. You are the answer to the questions that life is giving, because that's how you find it. People go, okay, great. Well, what am I supposed to do with that? Stop and listen. Learn how to meditate. Learn how to be quiet. Learn how to listen, however that works out for you. And you will find that life is constantly asking you questions. How you show up for those questions. How you can embody the answer. That's the meaning of life. You can look around and look at the news and go, wow, it seems like the world is just on fire. Yeah, well, maybe life needs you to be the rain. Life is asking you questions, and the way that you show up with the answers is the meaning. So learn how to listen. That's your homework. Learn how to listen. Learn how to stop looking for results and start looking for experiences. Learn how to just love the kid. Does that seem like a lot? I don't know, maybe. But it's baby steps time, my friends. Baby steps. Little moments. You ever seen like an escape artist like Houdini or somebody like that? I'd be very surprised if you saw Houdini, but someone like that. They get in a straitjacket or they get tied up or handcuffs or whatever, and then the curtain comes up so the audience can't see them for a moment. And the first thing that they do is they start wiggling just a little bit. It's a little bit of freedom, and with that little bit of freedom, they can do what they need to do to get out of the knot, to get out of the straitjacket, to get out of whatever is holding them back. All I'm asking you to do this week, this life, is find little ways to wiggle, just a little bit. Little ways to dance, just a little bit. Little ways to make love part of your normal. Little ways to make caring for each other part of your normal. And before too long, you'll have a little bit of play in those ropes. You'll find a little bit more way to do a little bit more. You'll find a little bit more way to do a little bit more. You'll find a little bit more way to do a little bit more. And before you know it, you'll be free. Because after all, freedom is a choice. Thank you.